entering a mock draft live stream. Please stand by for Smitty.
Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
You are entering a mock draft live stream. Please stand by for Smitty.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me here on this episode of the Fantasy Football Show. A little bit of somber news. Our boy D2W Stew has passed. Man, this was hard to hear because this is one of those longtime followers that I've had for a long time. Dude's very entrenched in cowboy fantasy football talk and cowboy shows, and this is sad. This is sad news. The D2W Stew has passed away. I've got on my Twitter his GoFundMe. I'm gonna pin that in the live chat right now. If you guys feel like dropping anything toward D2W Stew's GoFundMe that he had going for his mom and his house and things that he had going on there, feel free to drop something there. If you want, I'll put that Twitter link. I've got it pinned on my Twitter. You guys can go there and check it out. But man, this was sad. This is real sad. I was very, very, very down when I heard this because D2W Stew has been here from the beginning, man. So very, very sad stuff. So appreciate everybody being here. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family. I'm gonna drop that link right now. And again, at the very top of my Twitter, I've pinned that GoFundMe. So feel free to drop anything you want there or not, or just a thought, or prayer or whatever in the comments. Definitely do that. So yeah, I mean, God, it was a downer when I heard that today. I was like, I thought we had more time with him. I'll be honest. I feel I feel awful inside that I didn't realize we had that little time with him the last time I talked to him, last time he'd been on the show in the comments. Guy's always one of the biggest supporters of this channel. And the last time he DM'd me, just shooting the shiat, and I felt like, I talked to him, but, I think any of us, we feel horrible when we don't know we had that last, minute to talk to that person. And it's like, man, just what a downer, what a great individual. And anyway, so D2W Stew, we appreciate you, pal. We know you're looking down on us, and man, life's short, guys. Life is short. I mean, you hear that all the time, but this is just evidence of that. Just appreciate what you got when you have it, your loved ones, everything. It's crazy how quickly things can just go like that. So it's a sad moment for the show. This is the second person we've had pass in the last year too. Nick, German Shield. Nick, ring the bell, Smitty, ring the bell. The guy who do all the guitar songs. Nick was also, winner of a contest that we had. Like Nick passed away, and man, it sucks. So anyway, keep your loved ones close, and we're thinking of you, D2W Stew. So let's talk about what's going on in the news, fantasy football world. Appreciate you all being here. Deshaun Watson, this is not good news, more bad news for Deshaun. A 24th case was brought against him. So he had 22 pending cases a little over a week and a half ago, right? And so the NFL was coming to a decision. Hey, we're going to decide whether Deshaun Watson's going to get a suspension or not. And then boom, this 23rd case popped up where somebody brought a 23rd case against Deshaun Watson. And that wasn't good news because the NFL had already done all their interviews with all the potential victims. They had looked at everything. They were coming to a conclusion. Their final step was to talk to Deshaun Watson and get, the final interview phase with him before they decided what they were going to do. And apparently they were in discussions and talking with Deshaun Watson and figuring out what they were going to do. And then this 23rd case about a week ago popped up, and, this person's bringing another 23rd civil, not criminal. But criminal could open up. It depends on the DA. It doesn't depend on the individual bringing the civil claim. If a person has a civil claim and there's evidence within that civil claim that the DA deems fit to explore, they will explore it. So there's a potential that anything could open up as far as a criminal situation, because every case is going to have different evidence too. So everybody's saying, oh, well, if that didn't go the distance, then this probably won't. We don't really know that for certain. Because every case is going to have different evidence that the DA is going to look at. But basically, this 23rd case popped up about a week ago, and we thought, okay, now the NFL is going to have to look at that, maybe potentially interview that individual before they come to this determination about Deshaun Watson's potential suspension in 2022. Now, yesterday, another case pops up, and another individual is bringing a charge, or trying to go after Deshaun Watson in the civil track of this situation. And so now not only are there 22 cases that are pending, there are 24 cases that are pending now. 2 more cases added within the last week and a half. That's not a good look. And according to Deshaun Watson's own attorney, Rusty Hardin, he believes that there's a good possibility that the NFL will make a decision on Watson's status that he will not like, that either his client or him will like. So there's a real good shot that we're looking at potential suspension. Even Rusty Hardin, the attorney for Watson, is expecting a negative determination by the NFL. I think had the 2 cases not popped up, what horrible timing for Watson's camp. Had those 2 cases not popped up, I think maybe the NFL would have been tempted to say, hey, let's take this, as it comes when the cases get resolved, because it sounds like Watson does want to fight these and clear his name. And if he's innocent until proven guilty, in every one of our minds, we all believe that. I think it's important to take the accusation seriously from the potential victim standpoint, but it's also important to take Deshaun Watson's side in terms of being innocent until proven guilty. But here's 2 more cases. The NFL if they were leaning toward maybe saying time served and then let's reassess whether when the cases are all done and completed and either settled or thrown out, or let's say Watson's deemed guilty of something and has to pay a certain amount of money to these individuals, whatever the case may be. If the NFL was thinking about let's address it later and let him play, that's probably off the table now, with 2 more potential situations brewing and definitely 2 more cases being filed against him. This is not looking good for Deshaun Watson. I expect at least a 6 to 10 game suspension right now for Watson. I say 6 to 10 because you never know with the NFL, and they may say it's a 6 game suspension, 7 game, 8 game suspension, pending us looking at this again once everything comes to a conclusion. And the crazy part is there is no real conclusion. There's no real end of the road for this, because none of these cases are tied together, even though they're consolidated and handled and headed up by one attorney. Even though there's one attorney involved, there's still 24 individual separate cases that each one has to settle with Deshaun Watson individually. This is not a one lump sum effort like a class action. So technically this is why things are popping up now. A 23rd case popped up, a 24th case popped up, a 25th, a 26th, a 27th. 5 months from now, a 28th case, a 29th case. There's no real end of the road necessarily for this, because it's not a class action where it all gets handled one time. You're either in or you're out at the time of the case, and that's it. You can't come back later and say, hey, remember that case? Now that I hear all this, I want to bring a case toward Watson. These individuals can do this because it is not a class action. So we don't know when this will end. This thing could go all the way. This is why the NFL is going to be, unfortunately, in a position where they have to act, I think, because they literally don't have a way to determine where the end of the road is for this. So it's a very, very possible that Watson could be suspended indefinitely. Like maybe there's no end term to it. That way the NFL, I don't know how that's going to look legally, if they can do that with a civil situation, because there are a lot of exemplist implications that are only tied to criminal, but he did violate the league's personal conduct policy by organizing and orchestrating all these little one-off massages with these different individual people. There's 24 people bringing these cases against him currently. There could be 25, 20. We don't know how many of these that could pop up later, but this is not good for Deshaun Watson. And the Cleveland Browns gave this man a lot of money. I don't know how much of it is guaranteed in the context of like a criminal finding, or a conviction in the civil side of it. We'll have to have Tony the Tiger attorney, our in-house counsel, come on here and explain the contract of Deshaun Watson. It's a $230 million guaranteed deal. And what that means for the Browns if this thing ends up going multiple years, we don't know. All I know is that he's not playing in week 1. That I can pretty much say with almost certainty. We can't say anything with certainty. This is the NFL. But I'm pretty confident that Deshaun Watson is not playing football anytime soon. That could be the entire year. There could be some sort of indefinite suspension so that they don't have to put a label on it. We're going to reassess this. For now, he's suspended indefinitely. We don't know. They're going to come to a determination very, very soon, and they're definitely going to take into account these 2 new cases. Now 24 cases against Deshaun Watson. So if you've drafted this man to be your starter in 2022, start preparing and buckling down for not having him for at least half a year, maybe the entire 2022 season. And then it's a wait-and-see approach for 2023. These Cleveland Brown fans thought they found their passer of the future. It is unfortunate what's going on in Cleveland, and I feel really bad for the Cleveland fans. Looks like Baker Mayfield and Brissett will be fighting for a starting gig in week 1 on. I think the Browns would be dumb not to utilize Baker's familiarity with the offense, throw him out there, let him earn some value, some trade value, let him go somehow 4-2 or 3-3 and kind of earn some value, and then they can go ahead and trade Baker to Seattle or to a team that might think, oh, we've got a good plan of attack at quarterback, maybe the Panthers, whoever, and we go in and we're not feeling good success with our quarterback. Baker's looking pretty decent over here in Cleveland. Let's trade for him. Cleveland would be dumb not to pursue that avenue. I think it would definitely improve the team's likelihood of getting something tangible to help tide itself over while it waits on Watson. But currently, right now, my prediction is Watson misses 6 to 10 games minimum and might be very well looking at not playing a single snap in 2022. And that's crazy because this thing has gone like this. It's a roller coaster ride. And while so many people feel like, oh, okay, he's going to be fine, he's innocent, this is a witch hunt, it could be. It could be. We don't know. It's innocent until proven guilty. But the bottom line is there are now 2 more cases, 24 pending cases in civil against him in the NFL, in sponsorship and advertising. None of that meshes well. So we're probably looking at at least I would say at least a 6 to 10 game suspension. Appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate everybody in here. Innocent until proven guilty. Exactly, Kevin. That's what I've said about 10 times, but in the end, it doesn't matter in this circumstance. The NFL is going to act. The NFL is going to do what it wants. The NFL is going to take action, and we've got to prepare for that. Whether it's right or wrong, we're trying to read the tea leaves. We're trying to predict what the NFL is going to do. And it's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. In the eyes of the NFL, it is different. In the eyes of the NFL, this guy has violated the league's personal conduct policy. So, yes, he's innocent until proven guilty on the charges and the accusations made against him by the individuals. But did he violate the league's personal conduct policy? You got to ask that question and answer that question for yourself, Kevin. Did he? Have you looked at the personal conduct policy? Do we know if he still violated it? Yes, I believe he did. I believe he did violate the league's personal conduct policy. I believe having 20 or 30, upwards of 30 or whatever individuals come in from Instagram, individual massage therapists that don't have a big organization, it's just their sole proprietorship, like, hey, come sign this NDA, come sign this non-disclosure agreement, and come give me a massage. Like, this is a crazy situation that Deshaun Watson did in fact set up for himself. He did kind of make this situation messy, pardon the pun. This is not a good situation for the Cleveland Browns. It's not a good situation for Deshaun Watson. Innocent or guilty doesn't matter. It's a bad look, and the NFL is not going to allow a player to do what Watson's done, even if he's innocent of all the charges, and allow this to be a precedent of some kind, that you can go outside of the bounds of the NFL to organize these types of situations that Deshaun Watson organized. And in sponsorships, look at Beats by Dre, look at Nike. These guys all dropped Deshaun Watson immediately. So yes, innocent until proven guilty, but when it comes to sponsorships, when it comes to advertisers, when it comes to the NFL, it's a very different situation that they're breaking down. Watson having, I don't know, I'm not going to read that. Goodell should look at the evidence and destroy it like he did. My thing isn't even pulling up. Horrible news for everyone named Baker Mayfield. We appreciate you, Fantasy Football YouTube channel, hands down. Thank you, Jeb. Appreciate you. Creepy boy needs to get his act together, says Swaggy. Didn't get cleared for anything criminal. Didn't he get cleared for anything criminal? Yes, he did, of the situation that's been brought for. Like, criminal charges can be brought up on any of these new cases too. So these 2 brand new cases, the DA will most likely look at the evidence at hand and decide whether they're going to bring potential criminal grand jury against Deshaun Watson for the 2 new cases. Just because they threw out the other criminal cases, there are about 10 of them. I think there ended up being 11th. There were 10, 11, somewhere around there. They threw all 11 of those out. There wasn't enough evidence to move forward and indict Deshaun Watson, but that doesn't tie or have much relation to the 2 new introduced cases. Those are 2 individually different evidence, different individuals. Yes, same attorney. Yes, consolidated paperwork and case, but there is still a very, very decent chance the DA will look at it and see if they want to indict him for the 2 new cases. Every time this comes up, they're probably going to look at it. The DA is probably going to look at it and try and make a determination. Do we think we can bring charges against him on the criminal front? The criminal front, as soon as there is an open investigation, the NFL can potentially, I think, do a commissioner exemplis type of situation, but they did throw out all 10 or 11 of the other cases that were being looked at from a criminal perspective. Yes, Matt, they did, but these 2 new cases are 2 brand new cases, so we don't know. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we heard some kind of, okay, grand jury being looked at for this, and these 2 new cases are different. Okay, I really like the way you explained how the code of conduct works in the NFL. Yes, he violated the shield, very bad look. It's like, I didn't even break down the code of conduct yet. I don't know what it says word for word as far as like what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. But definitely the NFL looks at when you shine a light on the NFL that's in bad light, they consider that a violation of the personal conduct policy. Like to the letter of the law, like we'd have to have an attorney come on here and break down legally, make an argument for how Deshaun Watson violated specifically the personal conduct policy. But the personal conduct policy is different than the letter of the law. Like, did he commit a crime that's completely different than what the NFL is looking at? So I think if he gets convicted of anything or loses these 24 battles that he has going on civil, if he loses those, the NFL will come back and deem more punishment as necessary. So yeah, the personal conduct policy, like what the NFL's looking at, is a very small part of the suspension and overall outcome. Like this is they're looking at personal conduct policy only. They're not looking at whether he's innocent or guilty or anything like that. They're looking at personal conduct policy. Did he violate it? So this is small potatoes in terms of suspension and discipline. If something comes down where he loses the cases, or he fights him and loses them, or whatever, or another one goes criminal, that's completely different. That opens up a whole new big can of worms for Deshaun Watson's camp. This personal conduct policy is a very narrow and specific piece that the NFL is looking at. Did he put the NFL in bad light by doing these situations that he set up? So that's what's important to look at, is that this isn't looking at the big picture. This is looking at a very compartmentalized piece the NFL is deciding on. Very, very small. There is a second component, whether he ends up losing the cases or becoming, brought into a civil or a criminal part of it, a criminal, like the 2 new cases open up a criminal door. All those are completely different. So we will see. Let's move on topics. We should have more on this, I'm sure, as the week goes on, but the Deshaun Watson situation not looking good. DeAndre Hopkins, Cardinals' Cliff Kingsbury said Hopkins' knee will be full go for training camp. Of course, he will be suspended for 6 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy. So Hopkins will be out of commission for the first 6 games. And I think that D-Hop is kind of like a mix of value and a void in 2022, because we're looking at a player that hit that thumbs up on your way in the door. We got 85 people in here. Please punch that thumbs up button for your boy Smitty. Let's get this channel to 20K by the end of December. Tell your grandma, tell your friends, tell everybody about the Fantasy Football Show. But Hopkins, it depends on where you can get him in a draft. If you're getting him in like the 7th round, then he has a potential to be a steal, because 6 weeks will go by like that. Keep in mind, you're not just playing nobody for 6 weeks. You're playing a substitute, a guy like, let's bring up this news topic right here, a guy like Alec Pierce. Maybe you're starting Alec Pierce in place of Hopkins for 6 weeks. Then you get to throw Hopkins in. It's a sum total of all those starts that make up Hopkins' value when you want to look at it like that. So Hopkins could be a steal in round 7, something like that. But if you have to pay round 5 value, heck no. Give me Kenneth Walker. Give me all those players that are in that 4th and 5th round range over Hopkins all day long if he's missing 6 games. Not to mention, he's still got to prove to be healthy. He's still got to prove a lot to earn even what would equate to 4th or 5th round value had he only got like a 2 or 3 game suspension, let's say. So Hopkins, to me, is a very risky play heading into 2022. Unless he falls to 7th or 8th round value, which at that point I'm kind of okay with. I'm kind of okay with that. You guys should be okay with that. That's good value. But anything too early is going to be an avoid for me. On the topic of Alec Pierce, this guy's fighting for a starting wide receiver spot according to Coach Frank Wright. And I think Alec Pierce could be the number 1 wide receiver in Indy in 2022 by the end of the year. By midseason on, he could be the number 1 wide receiver. I know a lot of people expect Michael Pittman Jr. to just pop off and be this wide receiver 1. And sometimes I'm seeing you guys take him in round 4 of a fantasy football draft. I've seen him go in round 3. Michael Pittman Jr. Ridiculous reach in ADP, guys. Don't be spending a top 3 or 4 round pick on Michael Pittman. I like Michael Pittman. He could certainly produce high-end wide receiver 2 numbers. I'm not saying he can't explode or have a big year. I do like the kid, but he doesn't feel elite-esque to me. He doesn't feel like the kind of guy that's going to drop fantasy wide receiver numbers. I'm not necessarily saying that Alec Pierce is going to also become that, but I think he could become as valuable as Michael Pittman, and you're getting him at wide receiver 4 or 5 territory in fantasy football. This is a kid that could be entrenched in your wide receiver 3, fantasy football wide receiver 3 role from like week 3, week 4 on, and you literally never take him out. He could have that good of a season. He's got good hands. He's got a lot of good raw talent, and I think he really rises up the ranks really quickly, and he's got the ability to be as good as Michael Pittman Jr. So give me Alec Pierce all day long as a fantasy wide receiver 4. And yeah, I'm excited about him. Cooper Kupp is looking like he might get an extension very soon. We had this news right here. Let's pull this one up too. We'll do these side by side. Aaron Donald restructured his contract. Donald is getting a $40 million, I guess, raise, you could say, over the next 3 years, becoming the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. This dude's making bank. And I think this deal right here was depending and waiting on this deal. So next up is probably Cooper Kupp, and that's going to have some ramifications, some cascading effects down the NFL in terms of McLaurin's extension, potentially a DK Metcalf extension, a Deebo Samuel extension. All these extensions are going to be tied and affected by the extension of Cooper Kupp, who is the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. He was the Triple Crown winner. He deserves a pay increase, and his sum total contract is going to tell stories and dictate and have a cascading effect down on the contracts below him. So DK, McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, all these guys are going to be watching Cooper Kupp's contract. Now, some of these guys have more leverage than others. Deebo Samuel doesn't have a whole lot of leverage. Number 1, the Niners are waiting until the 11th hour to actually offer Deebo a deal. Deebo is going to have a real tight window, a small window of time to accept his contract and get on the field and not get fined. So Deebo's going to have very little wiggle room, and while he'll initially feel like he has a little bit of leverage, maybe he doesn't like the contract that's offered to him, maybe Kupp signs this monster, huge deal, and then Deebo says, I'm not signing a $59 million guaranteed deal on 4 years, $102 million. I'm not doing it. Doesn't matter, Deebo. Deebo's going to have to sign it because the Niners are giving him very little time to react, adapt, and adjust and negotiate. And there's not much of a negotiation that's going to take place. The Niners are going to tell him, Deebo, here's your offer. It's going to be a fair deal. Deebo's going to say, I want more. Deebo's going to see if Cooper Kupp does sign his extension before Deebo, which I do anticipate to happen. Deebo's going to say, I want X amount of money. The Niners are going to say, look, we've set this aside. This is it. It is what it is. Deebo will eventually sign it. Deebo would be crazy to walk into 2022 getting paid $4 million and having to prove it for an entire season. And it's not like he can dial back his wide back role. Of course, nobody wants him running up between the tackles anymore, in between the A gap and the B gap. You want him doing all of his wide back work, out wide, jet sweeps, stepping a yard behind the quarterback, catching the football, taking it 60 yards upfield. All that wide back stuff is fine. But Debo can't exactly dial back his workload. He can't exactly hold in, as they call it, where you aren't holding out, where you miss money and you get fined. You hold in, you show up, you fake an injury, you give less than 100%. Debo can't play those games when he's awaiting a contract at the end of that. So if he decides not to sign his massive, what I think is a great deal for him, $60 million guaranteed, if he's not willing to sign that and he wants something along the range of 70, 75, 80 million guaranteed, whatever Cooper Kupp's deal ends up making Debo think he's worth, it doesn't matter. Debo can't walk into 2022, play on $4 million, expect to dial back anything and get the interest and money he wants at the end of it. He's going to have to come and bring it and ball out. He's got to ball out. He's got to ball out at $4 million, put it all on the line and risk it. I don't think it's worth it to him to try and do that. I think he's got to sign a deal. And so it's going to get crazy. There's going to be a lot of drama and turmoil that surrounds this extension that Cooper Kupp is soon to probably sign. It's just going to create a lot of drama. Now, A.J. Brown set a baseline. He's got the same agent as Debo and as DK Metcalf. So this is a very, very tied together situation. A.J. Brown signing his, $57 million guaranteed, $100 million deal, a 4-year deal, 57, I believe, guaranteed. That kind of sets a baseline for both DK and Debo because that is the same agent. But at the same time, Cooper Kupp, a McLaurin extension, these things can have an effect. Aaron Donald's contract is going to have an effect. A non-quarterback contract is going to have an effect. It's all going to trickle down. It's all going to affect one another. So definitely feel like, there's a lot of drama that's going to take place here in the coming weeks and month. Get ready for it. It's going to be craziness. It's going to be a lot of breaking emergency news shows here, live streams here on the Fantasy Football Show. So buckle up. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new. We got 106 people in here. Subscribe if you're new. Punch the thumbs up button. Absolutely Deshaun Watson, that like button. And let's roll through more news. D'Ernest Johnson agreed to terms on a 1-year deal worth up to $2.4 million. More than $900,000 is fully guaranteed. This is a crowded running back room in Cleveland, but they're going to need these running backs because they're going to be running a ton. And you're gonna have Chubb and Johnson and Hunt, all these guys just completely getting abused because they got to run as they try and await Deshaun Watson's return, which could be a lengthy wait. Jerry Jeudy, this isn't good news, but it's not crazy yet. We'll kind of take it day by day. Left practice with a limp, some sort of groin injury, but he did show back up in sweatpants, and the team is definitely not too worried according to the reports that I see, because he was out there in sweatpants. He wasn't they weren't too concerned. They said it was just a very small potential thing that they wanted to thank you for getting to that, mods. They wanted to take care of and it hit at the beginning of it versus letting it get worse. So appreciate my mods in here. Jerry Jeudy, we'll come back to you, pal. Hopefully he's good. Hopefully there's no long-lasting injury or effects of that. Kenneth Walker, Athletics, Michael Sean Dugar, I don't know how you say his last name, believes Kenneth Walker is a perfect fit for the Seahawks outside zone run scheme. I agree. I agree with the Athletic here. The Athletic and I don't always get along. But I'll tell you right now, this kid, Kenneth Walker, is going to turn heads, and I love that people think he can't catch the football. I love it. I absolutely love it. Keep saying it. Keep saying, oh, he can't catch the football. Keep spreading that rumor around. Tell everybody that he can't catch the football. Tell everybody that his college football receiving stats will translate over and be what he is at the pro level. Tell everybody you can. Allow this man to continue to fall to the 5th and 6th round in redraft, where you win leagues. You win leagues with Kenneth Walker in the 5th and 6th round in redraft. Some people are getting him in round 7 and 8. I have people that DM me and people on my text line that literally say, hey, Smitty, I'm in round 8. Who do you like? This guy, this guy, or this guy? And I'm like, these are a bunch of bad names. Kenneth Walker isn't there. Is he, Bob? And Bob's like, hold on. Let me take a look. Oh, there he is. Kenneth Walker is sitting right there. Bob, what are you doing? What are you doing, Bob? Grab Kenneth Walker. Grab him now. He's a league winner anywhere outside of round 5. He's a league winner in round 5. Heck, he'd be a league winner in round 4, but don't tell anybody because I'm loving stealing away Kenneth Walker and redraft in rounds 5 and 6. It's absolute highway robbery. And in Dynasty, it feels like he goes in rounds 3, 4, or 5. I don't even know which Dynasty round he's really settling in, to be honest with you, because when I'm in a Dynasty draft, I'm reaching way too high. I'm not taking advantage like I need to. I'm getting impatient. I need to take a lap. I need to take a big fat lap because I need to realize there's value in waiting as long as possible on Kenneth Walker. That lap's for me. That lap is for me. That is for me. Mr. B says, grab Walker like Watson. Stop, man. Stop, Mr. B. The NFL makes billions and owners are either billionaires or make their money with their businesses. Players are doing all the grunt work. Okay. Thanks for that. Kenneth Walker isn't past round 5 in drafts. I don't see him go past round 5 or 6, Aaron, but I get a lot of reports where people like, I just got him in round 7. I just got him in round 6. I'm taking him in 5 or 6. I'm not messing around. In round 5, I take Walker in round 5. I usually can't allow him to fall. Past my round 5 pick. Kenneth Walker to the moon.
To the moon.
Kenneth Walker
It's
to the...
time
Oh,
to
no.
mock draft.
No, it's not time to mock draft. please don't get overly excited. I had the mock draft song going at the beginning of this show too. We're not mock drafting. Calm down. Smitty, make a draft guide, bro. No, Overcome. I have a full-fledged website. My full-fledged website is 365. We don't do draft guides. We do year-round content. This is a 365-day-a-year operation. This is not a wait for my draft kit. It's coming out in August and it's going to be updated. It's 365. Go to thefantasyfootballshow.com. thefantasyfootballshow.com. It's year-round, Overcome. There's no shutting down. There's no draft kit. There's no, the draft guide gets activated soon. My rankings will be updated. They're updated 365. It's thefantasyfootballshow.com. Overcome. It's year-round and it's magnificent. So go check it out. Draft guide. Well, these draft guides out there, they're absolutely hilarious. They are hilarious. Hey guys, on August 15, when it's too late, my draft guide will be out. It'll be updated too. It will be. I'll have 2 updates. Basically, you'll download it, and everything's going to change. Everything's going to change. And then later on, I'll update it twice. It's 365, Overcome. It's 365. That's how Dad did it. That's how we do it. That's how everybody does it. Okay? We're still getting out of it. Oh. Smitty's rankings are on Fantasy Pros. I have rankings on Fantasy Pros. Your boy Smitty is basically the #1 tight end ranker in the entire fantasy industry over the last 3 years. 2 of the last 3 years, I've finished number 1 out of hundreds of analysts in tight end rankings. I believe I was number 4 and number 6 2 out of the 3 years in quarterback draft rankings. Number 4 and number 6 in quarterback rankings. Your boy Smitty drops it like it's hot, bro, but we do it year round. No draft guides. Draft guides get updated once in a while. A fantasy football website is year round. It's year round. This bad boy right here, the Fantasy Football Show, Overcome. Look at this on screen. Articles, rankings, bold predictions, the trade calculator that your boy Smitty invented in 2003, the first instant trade calculator, video courses, text advice, you name it. That's what it's about. That's the ticket, bro. Make sure you leave a comment on Smitty's articles on his website. Yeah, iSong's going to be heading that little project. We're going to get the comment section of every article popping. So Terry, Silver, Kenny, all you guys watching that are, diehard thefantasyfootballshow.com members, we're going to have a constant dialogue after every article post in the comments of that article. So please partake. Let's make it like a forum. Let's make it like the old forums on thefantasyfootballshow.com in the comment section. Schultz about to hold out for more dinero. Maybe swaggy, but I absolutely love Schultz. I absolutely love him in 2022. I think Dalton Schultz could be the number 3 tight end in fantasy football 2022. I totally think he could be the number 1 tight end, bro. The number 1 tight end. I'm sorry, number 3 tight end. Number 3 tight end. Smitty, I want to give you a spot in the Cooper Cup League for someone for D2W Stew. Thank you, Terry. Terry is donating this spot right here to somebody. Let's give it away to somebody that has earned it. Somebody that has literally been a total monster in the comments. Somebody that I feel like deserves it more than anybody else right when I see their name. So if you don't have a spot in the Cooper Cup 96 team league, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand in the chat. I didn't mean to say number 1 on Dalton Schultz. I meant to say number 3. He's going to, I think, could easily finish as the number 3 tight end. I truly believe that. Swaggy, what's up, pal? Kelsey, Mark Andrews, and Schultz number tight end this year. I don't know. You asking me to rank these? I would say Kelsey, Andrews, and Schultz. I think, yeah, definitely could be that order. Could definitely be that order. Robert, new name, wants in. Ronaldo wants in. Ronaldo, I feel like Ronaldo might deserve it. DM me on Instagram. Anybody that wants the spot, DM me on Instagram, and I'm going to pick through that. So Ronaldo, DM me. DM me. Let's give away the spot to somebody that really, really deserves it. Brian MC, DM me on Instagram. Mike Ortiz, DM me on Instagram. I like all these names. Ronaldo, Mike Ortiz, Brian MC. I'm kind of feeling like first one that DMs me out of those 3. You guys are always in here contributing, being positive influences. I could see giving away a spot to one of you guys right away. I may not deserve the spot, but I'm back after someone stole my phone. I want in, says Scott. Well, Scott, that's a pretty good comment if you ask me. I see you there, Victor. Lurd wants a spot. Lurd wants it. Brian, of the 3 names, I believe Brian DM'd me first. Congratulations, Brian MC. You get the spot. Thank you, Terry, and thank you, D2W Stew. So that spot's given to Brian MC on behalf of Terry for D2W Stew. Thank you for giving that away. Vamp would have maybe been a contender too. Vamp's always giving back to this show. Okay, Brian, I'll send you a message. Congrats, Brian. Thank you, Terry. Terry's the man. I don't know what we do without Terry here on this show. He's always on patrol.
Terry, hey, scary. Terry's on patrol. Terry's on patrol.
I don't know what we do without Terry. I honestly don't know what we do without Terry. Let's go to the voicemails.
It's voicemail time. Drop a voicemail at the Fantasy Football Show on the gram. Tell your grandma.
Ow! I just stabbed myself. Okay. Ow! I just stuck a pin, like a tack that I had on my desk here, through my fingernail. Ah! That one hurt. All right, let's go to the voice messages. Man, what a bummer today with D2. You're in our thoughts, D2. Kenny.
Hey, Smitty, what are we doing with Devontae Smith this year in both redraft and dynasty? Is he a buy, is he a hold, or are you selling?
He's a hold. He's maybe a buy. You're not going to be able to sell him. Nobody wants Devontae Smith right now, but I like him. I still think he has the makings of a wide receiver one in fantasy. He's in an awkward situation right now. A.J. Brown's got the knees and a lot of health concerns, so let's not pretend like A.J. Brown's feeling like a lock to play more than 14 games as much as we want to wish it to be true. It certainly could be true, but I'm going to go ahead and say give me Devontae Smith as a wide receiver 3-4 with a lot of upside and room for improvement.
Hey, Smitty, it's Terry here. I'm going to ask this question for D2 because you know he'd want to know. What's your outlook for Pollard in Dynasty in the long run?
Yeah, okay, good question on behalf of D2W Stew. Pollard's dynasty value's tough because Pollard can win you a league. So I love him in redraft. I don't know if my love for his dynasty value equates to his redraft value, to be honest, because Tony Pollard, we know what we're getting out of Tony Pollard if he gets on the field now, but in 2 years from now, is he going to be the guy? Will the team draft another running back? Will Zeke Elliott linger for too long for Tony Pollard to ever really become the long-term answer that we think he can become? In redraft, I really, really like him. In redraft, you can get him as almost still a handcuff, and he can win you a league. If he becomes some third-round pick heading into 2023, Zeke Elliott still kind of around, but we don't think he's going to do much, and then people are overdrafting Pollard, and we don't know where the team values him. I could see that getting out of hand. Right now, I love that Pollard is like a handcuff. Like, we're literally able to draft this man Pollard and treat him like a handcuff. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I started getting into my Bob voice. I love him. I just don't know that you can like say, hey, he's got running, third round dynasty value. We're way too far away from that. So I'm going to say hold off on the dynasty pumping of Pollard, but get ready for a monster 2022.
Sticking with the Dallas theme for Stu, how do you feel about Dak this year? A year removed from the injury. Feel like he's going to get back to himself and do big things with Lamb.
Yeah, I think he can. I mean, the Cowboys are like the number 1 or number 2, number 3 offense in the entire NFL in terms of yardage and everything. So, I mean, Dak's going to have a baller year. He had a good year last year. Him and CD just weren't on the same page all the time, which made it feel like Dak didn't have as big of a season altogether. But he did. Like, Dak had a good year. And I think he needs to recover from this ankle injury fully. And I think he's getting there. I think it takes some time. Whenever you break your ankle, literally, like the dude's ankle, it's not like he just broke one side of it. He literally broke through the entire ankle. They had to put a plate on one side. They had to repair the whole thing. It was career threatening. That you don't just come back and have a monster year with no hiccups, no hesitations, no struggles. Like, he needed to have a year where he's kind of getting back on track. So I kind of feel like CeeDee Lamb and Dak are probably going to have the year we expected last year. This season, I think it's coming. I think the departure of Amari Cooper is going to open the door to a whole bunch of opportunity that I think Lamb's fully going to take advantage of. Yeah. So Dak should have a good season.
Smitty, can we do a line in the sand for Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I'm struggling to find out where the risk ends and the value starts for him.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So when we do mock drafts, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not going anywhere in the top 5 rounds. And we usually mock draft through 5 rounds, sometimes through 6 rounds, because we don't like to do this round 15 BS, or even around 10 or 11 or 12. People get bored watching that on the replay. Maybe the 11 people that are mock drafting with me enjoy going through the full motions of a mock draft, but the viewer doesn't want to see you in mocking in round 12 against bad ADP rankings that are getting recycled over and over and making more bad on the bad. So we stop in rounds 5 or 6 and we restart and we get going. We do multiple mock drafts that way. We mock draft more than anybody, any channel around. We do. And we affect ADP more than anybody around. We're not seeing Clyde going round 5. We're not really seeing Clyde going round 6 when we dip into round 6. That means Clyde has a round 7 plus ADP. Give me that all day long. My line in the sand is probably the end of the 6th round, mid 6th round. I think anywhere in round 6 is tempting. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to get thrown the football to a lot. I think this kid's got potential. He's the main guy in KC right now that knows the playbook. Everybody just saying Ronald Jones is going to take his job as if it's an easy playbook to grasp. It's not. And this kid's got PPR potential through the roof. And people are going to say, "Oh, he didn't produce, therefore he sucks." Most one-dimensional analysis is going to look at Clyde and say he didn't produce, he's garbage. He hasn't done good. No, Clyde's not good. Clyde's a trash can. Whatever. We heard the same thing about Hurts. Situation can change a lot. And when you're talking about Jalen Hurts getting A.J. Brown, now no one's talking trash can talk when it comes to Jalen Hurts. All the Jalen Hurts people are so quiet right now. The negative Nancy, the negative Karen people that were on the Hurts is a trash can, they're all super duper quiet right now. No one's wanting to make a sound. All these people that were just causing chaos and just saying that Hurts is going to have a bad year. You wait, Hurts is garbage. Where are you? Where are you? Him getting A.J. Brown, did it really change your mind that much? Clyde Edwards-Helaire has no competition. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in round 6, 7 is low risk, almost minimal risk, and tons of upside. You can get mad at what he did or didn't do all you want. You can get mad at the fact that we all bought in, and me included. And I have some blame here of perpetuating Clyde's value back when he was drafted into this KC situation, which at the time everybody thought was a gold mine. Not just me. We all believed that this was an insane situation for a running back to get dumped right into. Clyde's got good value now. Clyde's got good value. Let's see here. Hurts is still not it, says Swaggy. Receipt taken, Swaggy. Say cheese. Okay. The Bruce.
Hey, Smitty. Derek Carr this year in fantasy, is he
Hold on.
a top? Hey, Smitty, what is the outlook for Derek Carr this year in fantasy? Is he a top 10 quarterback, or is he just a mid-round backup with all them new weapons he has?
I think he's right around 9, 10, 11, 12. There's so many quarterbacks that are right at that range that it's not insulting to say he's 9. It's not insulting to call him 13. because there are literally Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts, Stafford. All those guys are right there at that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 range. Like, I'll pull up my rankings. Where am I going to pull up my rankings? Where am I pulling up my rankings? TheFantasyFootballShow.com, people. I'll pull up my rankings right now on TheFantasyFootballShow.com. And, whoops, I meant to go back to that. What are we on? Topic Carr? Derek Carr? Put that on screen. So, Derek Carr, pulling up my rankings at TheFantasyFootballShow.com. Here are the quarterbacks. So, obviously, after you take out Josh Allen, Herbert, Burrow, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. So, like at 7, 8, 9, you're talking about Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Trey Lance, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr. That's like 15 deep. Someone is going to be insulted when you say Carr's 9 because they're going to say over Dak, Jalen, Stafford, Aaron Rodgers. And then if you put Carr 14, they're upset. Like, it is what it is. It's a deep quarterback pool. Vamp wants in the Cooper Cup League. Vamp, DM me on Instagram right now. Appreciate you, Vamp. Everyone hit the pinned link for a good buddy stew. I pinned that link in the chat. It's to my Twitter that has his GoFundMe. I pinned it on my Twitter. So if anybody is interested in going to Stew's GoFundMe. Man, I'm just bummed about D2W Stew. We lost Nick and D2W Stew in the last 365 days. I think it's been 365 since we lost Nick. You guys remember Nick in one of the very first live streams? I mean, if you were there, we didn't have as many followers back then, but Nick said, "I'm gonna bring in 500 people right now." This is that guy, Nick. And then Nick didn't bring anybody in, and then he'd come back in another 10 minutes later. "I'm gonna bring in another live. There's so many people right here, Smitty. They're all gonna follow right now." And they, that was Nick. But Nick and D2W Stew. Oh, man. R.I.P., baby. We appreciate you both. It's sad. It's sad. It was a real downer to me today. Just completely hit me hard. Thank you, Vamp. Vamp, I'll be looking for your DM right now. I think we have the Bruce again.
Hey, this one's for D2. Is there any receivers besides CD Lamb? Receiver specific.
What did he say? Why is this message cutting out?
Receiver specific. Worth drafting. Wide
worth drafting.
Specific.
Tolbert. I like Tolbert. I think Tolbert could be the number 2 wide receiver in Dallas, but he's like a wide receiver 4 or 5. A guy that you hope could get into the wide receiver 3. Gallup's coming back from all kinds of injuries. He certainly is a potential, I think, to be, a wide receiver 3-4. So Gallup, you could say, but I think Tolbert's pretty good. I like Tolbert a lot. Let's see. Okay, Bruce, thank you. Man, we got a lot of messages here. Is this old?
Hey, Smitty, it's Tariq. Happy Friday to you and your family, and happy Friday to everyone.
Oh, that was Friday.
Hey, Smitty, how's it going? It's Tariq here. Happy Monday to everyone in the chat. With Deshaun Watson having a 24th person coming out in his case, what's his outlook going to look like in 2022? Is there an immediate suspension in place for him? Thanks, Paul.
So we covered that for a good half hour, 40 minutes, Tariq, so definitely replay the beginning of the show on that one.
Hey, Smitty, it's Tariq again. With Aaron Donald getting the bag, do you think the Rams are looking to repeat in 2023?
The Rams? Yeah, I think the Rams are probably the favorite, in the NFC. I think it's going to be between the Niners and the Bucks to try and get into that NFC championship. Obviously, the Cowboys might have something to say about that. I think they're definitely another contender. Cardinals have too tough of a division and schedule overall, I think, to even make the playoffs, to be honest, as sad as that sounds. But maybe they could grab the third wild card spot. But I think it's between the Rams, and then they're going to face off against one of the Niners, the Bucks, or the Cowboys, if I had to guess right now.
Hey, Smitty, what's your thoughts on Jerry Jeudy tweaking his groin during practice, but he came back to the sidelines in sweatpants? Is of any great concern, or is he still good to go as a
So addressed that already. Not too concerned about Jerry Jeudy. I think we'll address it if there's more news that breaks on it. Certainly don't like that any players getting banged up or not able to practice, but we'll have to take it day by day.
Hey, Smitty, it's Tariq again. If I were to get CMC and Javonte Williams as my two backs in 2022 in their standard redraft league, do you think that's a killer team or the running back core, or should I need more depth in the running backs? Thanks.
I like it. In one league, I'll take CMC in one league. Javonte Williams as a second running back is phenomenal. I kind of like Javonte and like Breece Hall, Javonte and Kenneth Walker, Javonte and ETN. If you want to go different routes with that approach, like Javonte in round 2, because I love coming out of round 1 with Chase or Jefferson or Cooper Kupp if it's redraft, and then having Javonte as your second round pick, then having your Breece Hall and your Kenneth Walker and a Waddle. I mean, that's a phenomenal. Think about that team, and that's why I like Jefferson and Jamar Chase a little better than CMC. Is I feel like they're just more secure, they're safer. I'm just not trusting CMC. But in one league, I do want CMC. But with the Javonte built teams, I tend to love to couple Javonte with Hall and Walker, or just Hall or just Walker, or ETN and Walker, and then getting your Waddle or your DK in round 3 or 4, getting your Jamar Chase or Jefferson. I mean, think about that team: Jamar Chase, Javonte, Breece Hall, DK, and Kenneth Walker, and then a quarterback like Trey Lance and a Dalton Schultz later. Like, that's a phenomenal squad. Absolutely love it.
Hey, Smitty, it's Tariq again. What's your thoughts on Najee Harris? Do you think he's going to keep his same level of volume from 2021 going into his sophomore year in 2022? Or do you think he's going to take a scale back? Because I know the Steelers like to wear down their running backs, beat them down with pretty much with a lot of carries. Just look at Le'Veon Bell, for example. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, I think Najee Harris is going to absolutely dominate. I think him gaining this weight is being overblown. That reporter talked about him gaining 14 pounds, but that's from his college weight. So he played at 239, 240 from all accounts last year, and he weighs 244. So he's gained 4 pounds. But who's to say he won't even knock that weight off in practice, in conditioning. So I'm not worried about it at all. Improved offensive line slightly. Let's hope Mitchell Trubisky or Pickett will be good enough and sufficient enough to move the football down the field bigger than and better than Big Ben did. I like Najee Harris a lot. I think Najee Harris is the number 2 or number 3 overall player in 2022. That's my take on that. Andy Grace.
What's up, Smitty? It's Andrew. Hey, I want to talk to you about Damian Harris. So last year, 920 yards with 9 yards on the ground. He averaged 4.6, 15 touchdowns. That really surprised me. And he had 18 receptions. That surprised me too. So I know James White is there. And so kind of interested in your thought. He's going in like the early 6th round. So seems like he would be a good pairing with a rookie, till they get their footing, till they get their job. Tell me what you think. Thanks.
I like Damian Harris, but he's going in round 3 and 4 in a lot of mock drafts. So I don't know about round 6. If he's going in round 6, I do like him, and I pair him to Ramondre Stevenson because I think between the two, or they got a rookie as well. Yeah, I think Ramondre. If you have to pay 3 or 4 round value, I'm going to pass, and I'm going to take Ramondre Stevenson later and only grab Ramondre. But if you're getting him literally in the 6th round, I do like Harris a lot. But you have to get him that late.
Hey, Smitty, what do we do with Watson now? Do you think he gets the full year suspension?
Thanks, Kevin, for the question. Talked about this for a whole 30, 40 minutes ahead, so definitely replay it. But I'll answer you anyway, Kevin, because you're the man, and I appreciate you asking me a question. Same thing with Tariq. Thank you for all the questions, Tariq. I'm going to say that Watson gets, let's just call it 10 games right now. 10 games minimum. I'm saying 6 to 10. I'm going to say 10. I'm just going to move it to 10. You've got 2 more cases that are coming forward. This is 24 total cases instead of 22. The NFL, sponsorship, advertisers, doesn't matter. You and I think alike when we say innocent until proven guilty. That is to the letter of the law. The NFL is talking about violating currently the league personal conduct policy, which they're not even looking at the legal part of it yet. They're looking at the conduct policy only, and they do not like what they see, and they don't like what this man has done. They don't like the situations he's put himself in, and he's trying to fight him. And I don't know that the NFL likes that he's trying to fight it either. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's good. The NFL will want that because if he can win it, then he can kind of make it all okay. But the NFL doesn't like these situations at all. And the fact that he wants to fight them and drag it out, I don't think the NFL is very happy about that. So I think he gets 10 games minimum. We might be looking at a whole year. This is Asher. I don't know if Asher is playing the guitar.
Smitty, we saw how the Bengals came from basically nothing in the depths of the AFC North.
We sure did,
rose
Asher.
To the Super Bowl AFC representative. I just wanted to see who you thought might do the same this year. Who's your Bengals for 2022? What team do you think is going to show up and surprise people?
Well, your boy Smitty, Asher, predicted the Bengals to win the division. That was my prediction. I said that the Bengals would do what they did, and people laughed at me, Asher. They laughed at me. They laughed at me hardcore. But guess who's laughing now? Your boy Smitty. Your boy Smitty's laughing. If I had to pick a Bengals of 2022, the Jets are clearly on the track to be that eventually. I don't know that it's going to fully, materialize in 2022, but the Jets are going to be the quick turnaround team. Honestly, looking at all the divisions here, just taking a glance and gander, there's no surprises in the AFC West. I mean, you could have the Rams winning, or I'm sorry, the AFC West. You could have the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos. Any one of those teams could win the Super Bowl, let alone, their division and make the wild card spot. I think the Eagles could be that team. They could potentially win the East, NFC East. They could be a team that gets into the playoffs and wins a playoff game or two. I don't think anybody's making it to the Super Bowl with the competitive teams that we have walking into this season. I don't think there'll be a lot of big surprises there. I think it's going to be one of those AFC West teams. It's going to be the Rams or the Niners or the Cowboys or the Bucks, that make it to the Super Bowl and to those NFC championship games and AFC championship games. But I think the teams that could surprise, it would probably be the Eagles, and the Niners, because the Niners are going to be very undervalued. So, and they're going to be a joke to people that don't believe in Trey Lance. I think the Niners could make the Super Bowl. So give me the Niners, give me the Eagles as the two, and then the Jets kind of on the come up. Terry.
Hey, Smitty, Terry here. Just finished last night the linear draft, the 103, 108, 205, and the 37. My guys were Drake London, Christian Watson, Alec Pierce, and Tyrion Davis-Price. What do you think?
Nice job. I like it. I like Price a lot. I love Christian Watson. I love those picks. Nice work, man. Nice work, buddy boy. Thank you guys for all the questions. I'm going to head back to the normal screen. 100 of you in here. Please subscribe if you're new. Punch that thumbs up button.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
Wipe thy feet at thy door, and we'll be back tomorrow. Do we have any? Let's go through the chat. Let's do a speed round Q&A in the chat while I have you all here.
It is time for the speed question and answer segment.
Okay, go. We're going to go 9 straight minutes of answering your questions as fast as I can from the chat. That means you've got to be short and sweet. You've got to be rapid. Let's roll. Let's roll. Leave a like for Stu. Thank you, Van. Appreciate you. And yeah, he will be missed. He will be missed. This is a little long, Frank. It's a little long. I'm not going to lie. I almost skipped over this one. I have the 1.1, 1.12, 2.1, and the 2.12 this year in my redraft. What would your strategy be? My strategy would be JT, Javonte, and probably I don't know. Just it depend on the wide receiver that's available there. Okay, and I wouldn't be afraid to go Josh Allen or quarterback at that 2.12 because you're gonna have so much depth to be able to pull that off. But Frank, it depends on who's available at that 2.1 pick. But I think Javonte and JT would be easy calls for me. Easy calls. Is Pittman a solid wide receiver 1? G Money, I talked about it earlier on the show. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1. I don't think Pittman's a fantasy football wide receiver 1. I don't think that's possible. There are too many good wide receivers. And I think Alec Pierce could maybe be better than him. I think he's got potential for wide receiver 2 numbers. But that's it. Danny the Greyhound says Niner by Nature. Niner by Nature is one of, if not the highest ranking super chatter on the year sum total. So appreciate Niner by Nature, always a beast in the chat. Devontae Parker, value, no. I don't think so. Thielen or Osborne, give me Thielen. Henry's so good, he's got to prove that he's fallen off for me to avoid him. Okay, Mr. B, you do you. I agree he looked good running uphill, but he also looked good doing push-ups on rubber bands with chains around his neck last year. Mileage is mileage, but I do agree he looks good. His foot doesn't look like it's hampering him right now, which is one part of that battle. People are sleeping on tight end Irv Smith. Maybe. I don't know about him being a huge monster breakout, though, bro. I like Alec Pierce as well. Danny Gray going to do his thing. Is the Throne League back? Yes, it is. We should know more on that in the coming week or so, so get ready for it. Mark Andrews over Kittle? Probably, because Kittle can't A, stay healthy, B, he's not getting consistent volume. He's being asked to block too much. Not his fault, but it does affect his fantasy value. Dalton Schultz or Waller? Give me Dalton Schultz this year. He may hold out, he may not. I doubt he's holding out. No one's holding out these days. He wants more money, but he'll be fine. Could Tunyon break out? He could if he proves to be healthy, because they need pass catchers in Green Bay, but coming off a torn ACL, curb expectations a little bit. Trade away Kittle for Pollard and Dynasty. I think that's even. It depends on your tight end depth. I don't necessarily think that's going to be something that you get. You kick yourself later on either side. I love Pollard, but you're definitely getting more value in Kittle initially. It's just a matter of when and if Pollard gets called upon. Judy or Sutton? Give me Judy for right now. We'll see if Judy's injury ends up hampering him at all. We'll have to play that by ear. Is it best ball? What best ball? The Throne League? No, it's not. Waller, it's where the followers draft my team for me. I go to vote every time we're on the clock. We go live, and you guys vote on the pick. Waller over Schultz? I say no. I say Schultz. Is there a Detroit-style pizza in Arizona? Lou Malnati's, bro. Lou Malnati's, I believe. Is that Detroit style? No. Is that not? I don't know. No, it's Chicago style. Detroit style. What's Detroit style? Flat, is it like New York? There's not a lot of good flat New York style pizzas here, bro. There's a couple mom and pop places that are good, but nothing you know about. Lockett or Devontae Smith? Give me Devontae Smith right now. Better quarterback situation. Who's a breakout wide receiver for the Chargers this year? I think Mike Williams has a baller year. I like Keenan Allen a lot, but he's got to stay healthy. I think Mike Williams is going to be sneaky good. I think he's going to be sneaky good. Does Trey play over 15 games with this terrible O-line? It's not going to be terrible. Meet the woo. You'll see. The offensive line is going to be fine. Having Trey back there alone is going to improve it immediately. I think Trey balls out. I think Trey has a top 5 to 7 quarterback season in fantasy football 2022. What do I order McDonald's? I order a Big Mac, McDLT, quarter pounder with some cheese, filet of fish, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a Happy Meal, McNuggets, tasty golden French fries, regular, large in size, salad, chef or garden, or chicken salad, oriental, big breakfast, egg McMuffin, hot cakes and sausage, maybe biscuit, bacon, egg, cheese sausage, Danish hash brown 2, 4 dessert, hot apple pie, sundae 3 varieties, soft serve cones, 3 kinds of shakes, a chocolatey chip cookie, and a drink of Coca-Cola, Diet Coke and orange drink, Sprite and coffee, decaf, maybe a cookie. That's what I order at McDonald's. How do you like that? Name another person that can recite the McDonald's menu verbatim like your boy Smitty just did. Cheers from Shanghai. Appreciate you, Paul. Appreciate you. Henry is my running back 1. Swift is your 2. Do your thing, G-Money. Do your thing, pal. My game day food. I don't eat at McDonald's a lot, believe it or not, even though I know the menu. Biggest rookie running back surprise this year is going to be Rachaad White, baby. Dropping loads all over the field. I mean, it sounds like Kenny Walker is going to surprise some people too, apparently. Kittle or Schultz? Give me Schultz. Give me Schultz, baby. Lance's leg talent plus the run game will hide the O-line inefficiencies. I agree. Thank you, Spackle. You're a sick man yourself. We got 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Keep the fast speed round questions coming. Ayuk or Lamb? Give me Lamb by a mile. Niner by nature. I'm sorry. I think Ayuk has a good year, but give me the Lamb-ski. Lamb chops is potentially top 1 to 5 this year. Congrats on the show, Smitty. Everyone watching in Brazil. Appreciate you, Victor. Biggest rookie wide receiver surprise, Justin Ross for the KC Chiefs. This kid could be the number 1 wide receiver in Kansas City right away. It's funny how no one sees him coming just because of the injury. The injury is making him a value grab. So Herbert or Allen or Burrow, probably Herbert this year, but I love all 3 of them. BWK, you need international correspondent, Smitty. I will work from Australia for you. I appreciate that, BWK. You could just work for me by spreading the word. Okay, just being an advocate for the show. That's what I need. Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs. Give me, I guess Saquon Barkley. Foreman or Chubb. Foreman, I suppose. Waddle or Higgins. Give me Waddle. Higgins might be a little safer, but give me Waddle. I like Waddle more. Ross was a beast. People forget. Yes, he's the number 1 wide receiver in KC. That's going to be my bold prediction. Yes, it's bold. But I think he's going to ball out. I think Justin Ross is going to be better than Sky Moore. I think he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver in KC by the end of the year. Allen Robinson finishes the top 12 wide receiver. I'm going to say no, but it's close. I mean, he could. A.J. Dillon or Elijah Mitchell. Give me Elijah Mitchell. Just cuff him to Ty Davis Price no matter what you do. Cuff him. You got to cuff him. Metcalf or A.J. Brown. Give me A.J. Brown, but I love both of these guys this year, and I think Metcalf is extremely undervalued. But A.J. Brown is going like in the end of the second, top of the third. DK is like a 4th round steal. So there's a discrepancy in ADP. Smitty, the drive-through champ. That's right. Number 1 bounce back player this year in 2022. Number 1 bounce back player. ETN. Best Jacksonville wide receiver. Again, ETN. He's going to be the best pass catcher in Jacksonville. Dotson or Justin Ross in Dynasty 0.5. It's like I said, Justin Ross, baby. It's Justin Ross season. Elijah Moore or Ayuk. I think Elijah Moore might be actually a tad safer, but Ayuk has a little bit more upside and ability if, let's say, Debo gets banged up. I don't think Ayuk's going to be the number 1 wide receiver if Debo's healthy. I think Elijah Moore could be the number 1 wide receiver for his team, but these are 2 very close wide receivers. I like them both about the same for 2022. ETN, baby. ETN. Smitty in In-N-Out or Canes. Give me In-N-Out, but I like both of them. ETN is a running back. I know that, Carlos. Thank you for enlightening me, Carlos. Thank you so much. Glad you're here to tell me that. All right, that's the speed round Q&A. Appreciate everybody partaking in that. We are 21 minutes over on today's show. Appreciate every single one of you. You are all special. You all mean a lot to me. And I can't thank you enough for being a part of this channel and the growth that we've undertaken, endured, experienced together. We are going to climb to 20K by the end of December. I can feel it in my bones, and it's all because of you. I work for you. I also respond and answer every single question in the comments, so please drop me a question on the way out the door. Or actually, once the video processes and is up on YouTube, there'll be 0 comments. Ask me a question. I answer every single question. Also, know I go live whenever there's breaking news. So if something breaks tomorrow, something breaks tonight. Anytime there's big time breaking news, think of me and think, oh, Smitty's live right now. Let me go check out the YouTube channel. And also, please, please, please get on over to the Dynasty channel. Just go to the main YouTube homepage. Scroll to the bottom and you'll see my Dynasty channel. Subscribe to it. Actually, let me put the link in the chat right now. This is my Dynasty channel. YouTube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football. Subscribe to the Dynasty channel. I go live once a day on the Dynasty channel. Usually it's at night. So I put that link in the chat. Please subscribe now. Ask a question. Let's go. Rest in peace, Stewie. Everybody give a thought, prayer to Stu, D2W Stew, who has passed on. Appreciate him. Appreciate everybody that supports him. Twitter. Again, on my Twitter, I pinned a link to his GoFundMe if you wish to partake. But we'll be thinking about you, D2. Thank you for all you did, pal. ETN, Carlos.